soft and slow. Neon hums like it's got soul to show. My boots shuffle on that dusty floor. Feels just like I've been here before.
But but you did a ton of history there.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
He doesn't
One glides on the glitter.
But one does Joaquin into Gotham.
These boots are made for Joaquin. That's right.
No, God, please, no, no.
You went there. Okay. Just for that,
Boots
Stephen.
are made for Joaquin.
Just. Oh my God. And Grant. Okay, if you're going to subject us to singing, okay,
I'm a terrible singer.
I expect to see detailed from you guys. Just do one, and then the one that. Oh wait, one that is near.
Ooh.
And then get all the fanboys, the newbies.
We could take the collapsed tunnel that led.
Yes.
And their lighting source is a disco ball overhead. Yeah. Studio 54, the Underdark. Hey.
You might want to talk to Tom Costa, because I don't know how much Underdark is in. No,
I don't think
Takes a
there
beast.
is anything.
But there could be.
No, there can be, is what I'm saying, there can be.
You can always create a new.
And luckily, because we only work in fiction as opposed to tectonics, we can shove shit down there, and it's not going to disrupt the surface level.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, gentlemen,
Okay,
I have to go.
We can do Shallow Regoose. We can do Shallow Regoose because I've already got partly written.
My wife and I are going to watch episode 4, 5 of season 2 of, you guessed it,
Andor.
What are the Ewoks up to this week?
Okay. Well, I will just say this, Grant. It has been a pleasure. Thank you very much for keeping us on the mostly straight and narrow.
It's a thankless task, I will tell you that.
Yeah.
Thank you anyway.
But I really enjoy being part of this, and the friendships over the years have been pretty fantastic.
I do have a quick question for Grant before we wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
If given your shot, what would you be writing in the realms?
I might go back to Cormyr. I do have
this fighting with Brian Cortillo.
I think between the two of us we could tussle it out.
I don't think so.
Then here, why don't you take there was a bawdy little tavern song from one of the AD&D comics where they sang about the Queen of Cormyr has 10 consorts, we hear.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm sure there's a history to that,
Right.
Eric's had a real love of ChatGPT making up songs, right? So
and I put him to music.
You started it.
I started it.
And now he's addicted to it. So every time we have a game on Saturday nights, he's got some ChatGPT song set up.
So Ed, did you listen to the rap of the realms I put in the chat?
I did.
Okay, there you go.
We're sorry.
and I survived it.
And you survived it. Okay.
Hey, you're the ones, there are no others, so here's your realms, you funky mothers.
I think you should clip that out and put it at the front end of this podcast.
I am. And I have. You didn't see it, but there's also one of him licking the lens. I'm going to put that in there too, and as a promo.
Which one first and which one second?
God. I'm sorry. My brain is trying to do the Beastie Boys Joaquin this way. God.
Oh dear.
This way.
No, that's Aerosmith, isn't it? Walking this way.
Yeah.
It started as Aerosmith.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I see. To me, Aerosmith is Toys in the Attic. I Walk This Way came out of Beastie Boys before.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, let poor Grant go and watch his show.
Okay, sorry.
It's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Bye, Grant.
Have a good night. We'll
You
talk
too.
again soon.
Okay,
Yeah,
Grant.
this is great. Yeah.
So is there anything salvageable out of this?
You know, there probably is. I could probably find something in here.
Don't let Chat GPT choose it for you, though.
I won't. I won't. I won't. No, 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 no,
You
no.
like my snazzy new headphones?
Yes, I do.
These are my birthday gift from my son because he didn't want to give back my old ones.
So instead of giving your old ones and him buying himself a new pair, he brought you a new pair.
It's my birthday.
Okay.
Aw. Aw.
It's my birthday Saturday anyway. I mean, hell.
That's right. That's right. It's not quite your birthday. But hey.
See, there's only so much slack I'm going to give the kid who looked me dead in the eye last Thanksgiving in front of my brother. And he's like, he's older than you, right? Yeah. So how come you look so much older than he did? And because of you, fella.
You. That's right. It's not the years, buddy. It's the mileage.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
But Ed, I mean, I can't remember the last time you saw Oscar. I do remember you stopping by, and he was probably a year and a half old and rolling around in the
Yeah.
grass.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
He's
he's
now
a little older than
teenager.
that now.
Is he rolling the car yet?
Oh, he's not that old.
No, he hasn't started driving yet.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
okay.
Sorry, I just got a National Weather Service alert on my phone here that says
You're about to be flooded out of the basement. Get
severe
out now.
thunderstorm warning until 11:15. Destructive 80-mile-per-hour winds. Take
that's
shelter in
good.
a sturdy building.
Well, you have a basement. You're good.
So I have to admit, I have always consciously avoided having anything to do with the Underdark, mainly because it was so many other people's playgrounds that I ignored it. So I've never given it a huge amount of mental capacity other than when I had to lock it out of certain story points, which is why we collapsed the tunnel between Maztica and Faerun to make sure we didn't have to deal with the Maztican Underdark.
Got it.
What about an abandoned drow city that was taken over by dwarves?
A cavernous area filled with bones.
No, I'm saying taken over by dwarves they've moved in because
So what are you saying? The dwarves aren't a dying race? They've actually just moved somewhere outside of the
Yes. Why would
scope
they-
of the
Yeah.
camera?
yeah, they're not a dying race. Maybe
The
they've
dwarves rule the Underdark beneath
That's
Maztica.
right. It's a reconnoiter type of situation. So
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, do it.
because I have those wonderful stone ships that I wrote up that I've never
Yeah.
done anything with.
Yeah, do that. I think that'd be really cool.
We could do
I
a
think
port,
that-
a port
that-
in a drow city. A
Well,
port of dwarves.
I have to admit the first thought that popped into my head when we said if the dwarves are actually running a thriving Underdark and an invasion force actually came for the areas above where they live, I'm just suddenly imagining, okay, Omnian ships are coming in to attack, and suddenly these massive stone monoliths pop up to shield the cities. And
Oh no, you would have these just dwarves pouring out of all the sewers. Just
no, they've learned how they've learned to not make themselves targets, which is why they've mastered stone golems and other shit like that, I would think. Or even worse, gem golems.
Ooh.
Well, if you take the stone ships that I made and you work it with Spelljammer, you can have them come flying out of the ground and then actually flying around the battle.
Or you just drop a golem on them that's made out of stalactites.
There you go.
Pointies! Ah! It's like dropping a giant Velcro golem on them.
Oh, there you go. Just roll them.
Are you getting all this, Jeff? Because
Yes, I am.
he's gonna want his notes later.
I'm sorry, no, I'm not going to want Velcro golems anywhere.
Oh, come on, Steve.
And no, it could be their tagline when they go in the battle is just Give me a
No,
hug.
honestly,
Give me a hug.
I have a folder on my laptop that is Wikipedia articles about the breakdown of limestone and what happens and all the miscellaneous links to that. That's all some of the research I'm messing with to deal with trying to just write 16 pages about Rymanthine, but I need to understand what the impact of pulling that city out of nowhere and plopping it there, and then having that restorative magic increasing. I need to know what it's doing to the landscape around it, and it's just slows me down because I want to do it right as opposed to I have to have it done by Tuesday.
Right.
In other words, you're trying to make the realms realistic. How dare you?
Dare
No.
you, boy.
No, I need to make it realistic enough.
Yes. Point
See, the
taken.
problem is I've left enough looming other things that is like the problem is because of the timeline expansion, some of that the restoration magic coming from that ritual from the novel is hitting some of the other remnants of old elven sites that were other mysteries. And I don't know if I want that to butt heads or if I need to move stuff. Like oh crap, the Doors of Cronfeor, I think it was. It was allegedly some Celtomiran library city. And by my measurements, the restoration magic should have reached it by now. But I don't necessarily want that to not be a ruin.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also all the people, whether it's human or other, that are living on the high moor that are being displaced because one thing that I didn't underscore in the novel is that the whole dark disaster and when I had the elves and everything get subsumed into the Sharn,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just the elves, it was every living thing that was within the scope of that spell. So every plant, every bug, every animal, from shrews up to owls or whatever, or bears if there were any, that's all been part of the Sharn, and that all got released when that ritual happened. So 100 years worth, and suddenly we'll have plants out on the high moor that haven't existed on Faerun since the Crown Wars time.
Wow.
And I just have this goofy image of, is there any other plant like the pomegranate that has those pods and you peel it open and it's hundreds of seeds and that's where all the juice is? Because the pomegranate's the only one I'm aware of that has that sort of thing with all those little bits of liquid. And I'm just imagining a plant like that, that the people in Rymanthine know how to turn that into a wine that the elves lost thousands of years ago. So that's one of their primary trade goods with the elves because it's unheard of even on Evermeet.
I like it.
But I also would love to know that if there's any other plant like a pomegranate where you get those bulbs filled with seeds.
I
You know what
think
I mean?
there is. I think there is. I'm trying to remember from all my years of being a librarian and
Yeah.
answering.
Well, if it
I
pops
think,
to mind, let me know by email.
yeah, we'll
It's
do.
just one of those stray hanging ideas. It's like
You're talking about realms
I would
related fruit.
I would love to be able to just rattle out 16 pages of Rymanthine and throw it onto DM's Guild after George plays with it and makes it pretty. But I can't unless I force myself to just do broad swipe. Here's the commoner's view and what you might get if you just manage to somehow get to walk into the City of Hope. I mean, I could
One does
do it.
not simply walk.
I mean, it's just been. I mean, it's fascinating to play with the idea because one of the things I'm gonna do is probably. Oh, I did. good 20 odd pages of stuff for Pathfinder that set up some centaur tribes for that world, for Galarian, that are up near their glacier. But I may borrow some of the notes that didn't make it into the final print and pull that in for the area on the Highmoor. It's just one thing I'm still looking into is how do you deal with a huge like tsunami of invasive species on many levels? Because all the stuff that gets restored with the magic and just floods out of that area with the magical fire. Imagine everything from as tiny as an aphid up to something the size of a Dalmatian, if we're not even talking about larger predators. I mean, we're going to have centaurs out there that haven't ever been out there in 40,000 years. We're going to have everything from prey to predator, bugs, and so much stuff. It's going to help make the soil viable again, but it's also going to displace all the stuff that's managed to make the Highmoor home for the last 20,000 years, and it's got to go somewhere. So where does that go?
Oh, it's a new orc horde, except it's not orcs. It's
It's
everywhere.
plants.
Well, and I'm also thinking of little things like it's going to restore certain waterways and water patterns, and suddenly there will be, the cliffs that are along the Sword Coast from the Highmoor. Imagine suddenly that, that cliff has been stable for 15, 20,000 years, but now there's a waterfall that started. And that's going to affect the little tiny coastal hamlets that have been fishing
Where the
in
farmers.
that same area for ages.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sort of stuff that keeps me from writing a simple 16-page thing, because I want to know, I don't want to put it down wrong, and it's driving me crazy.
But you can't tangent yourself like that, because you got to take it one step at a time. What's it going to happen in the next 10 years or 15 years in the current realms, and then move forward, and and there gradually those invasive species will come back, or the topography is going to change enough to where it makes a difference.
Yeah.
But if you try to follow that line, you'll never end.
I guess I got to just write it in, say, 15, 25-year chunks or something.
Exactly.
And say,
No, that's
this
perfect.
is where it's going. But
Every
the
quarter
other
century,
big
yeah.
hurdle is when I've got 5 gods in attendance to help this happen. A new religion is forming that are those 5 gods in unison, and I have to
Well, that's
build
good.
that. I have to build that whole religious movement and send it out into the realms and see what happens with that too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the new Quinterans, or whatever you want to call it.
You need more to drink.
Yeah, there you
Yes,
go.
I do.
You
Yes,
don't
I
have,
do.
I think your hops level is getting a little low.
Unfortunately, I'm worried that with all the goddamn tariffs and everything, the Midwest will be left with nothing but Malort and old style. God help us all.
You're starting to enjoy old Milwaukee.
Oh God. Malort. Yes.
Malort, no.
Yeah, I
Oh
have.
God.
Well, I'm afraid I've got to ring out here because
That's okay. We can end up. I'll find something in here that we can use. If not,
I hope.
I enjoy just
I'm
talking
sorry.
because
Well,
I
Ed, if you've
this.
got any ideas to help me, to help shove me forward on getting this done, let me know.
Oh, it's very easy. It's a dildo on a stick. No, that always works for shoving them forward.
Well, that's a point. I'll give you that, but I don't want it.
It's also that'll wake you up too. Let me tell you.
Yeah, baby. Okay.
Okay, there's another earworm from Jeff. Thank you. Okay, there's
No,
I'm gonna
tells me
I'm gonna deal
somebody's
to
angry.
money steak.
Okay.
I wanted to say something.
Okay, I guess I'm being told to wrap it up.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, I enjoyed it. I'll find something to use, even if it's a 10-minute show. But I enjoyed it. Get to work on it, Stephen.
All right. We'll see you
Okay.
later. Have fun.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
But it heals my pain. Every chord strums a wound untamed. In these shadows, I'll stake my claim. Smoke wraps round like a serpent's kiss.
You're the ones, there are no others, so here's your realms, you funky mothers.